Hey everyone, we're going to start by prepping our tumbler by sanding it really well and then wiping it down with alcohol. Next, I'm going to take my fluorescent spray paint from Montana cans and I'm just going to spray random splotches of color around the tumbler until I'm happy with the way it looks. Once your spray paint is dry, you're going to use whatever your preferred method is to apply your glitter. Here I'm using the epoxy method. Next, you're going to apply an opal glitter. Here I'm using Chicago from Nicole Moret Original. Using clean hands, you're going to sprinkle on your glitter around the tumbler sparingly. You want to make sure to have a nice enough layer that your tumbler is really sparkly, but you don't want so much glitter on there that it covers up your spray paint. Once your glitter layer is dry, you're going to epoxy like normal. Once this layer is cured, if you feel like it's too bumpy, you can sand it and go over with another layer of epoxy. But for this tumbler, I'm not going to worry too much about having a really, really smooth surface. Once the epoxy is cured, I'm going to use 2 different sizes of painter tape to mark off certain parts of the tumbler that I think are really pretty. So I'm kind of just going to look around at the tumbler and see which spots that I want to show through the paint, and I'm going to just place a little piece of painter's tape right over those spots. You can go around and kind of adjust your tape as you need to, moving it around until you're happy with what you've got. When doing any type of geode cup, if you're going to be spray painting over the glitter, you want to make sure that you do not sand the epoxy before you spray paint. If you sand the epoxy and then spray paint, you'll end up with little scratches that you cannot get the spray paint out of. So if you feel like your cup is a little bit too bumpy, just throw on another coat of epoxy. But whatever you do, do not sand before you spray paint. Once you're happy with your tape placement, you are going to just spray paint it whatever color you want to use. Here I'm just using a matte black. And once that's dry, you're going to remove all the pieces of tape. Then I'm going to use a cloth to remove some of this black paint so I can get a nice, more geode looking design. I'm going to use acetone and then 91% rubbing alcohol to do this. I like to use the acetone to remove most of the paint, and then I use the alcohol just to clean up any smeared paint that I get on the cup. And you'll just keep going around the cup doing this until you're happy with the way it looks. the next step is just to epoxy like normal. Next, I'm going to show you how I applied this holographic detail around the edges of the geode. You can use Tack It, or you can even use this metal leaf adhesive from Speedball. They're essentially the same thing. Next, I'm going to apply the Tack It using a really small makeup brush. You can also use a really fine paintbrush to do this as well. As you can see, I'm just lightly dabbing on the Tack It all around the edges of the geode shapes that I created earlier. Once you've applied all your adhesive, you're just going to let it dry until it's clear. Next, I'm going to use this foil that I got from Amazon. This one is a holographic silver foil, but of course you can use any color of foil that you like. I'm going to take a small piece of that foil and I'm just going to place it on my tumbler. You can use a scraper like I'm going to use here, or you can just use your finger or a credit card, something to really stick down that foil. Once you peel up the backing, you will see that the foil will stick to the tacket. If it doesn't stick as well, you can always go over it again until you're happy with the coverage. And as you can see, I am using the same piece of foil over and over, so you don't need a lot of this foil to be able to complete a cup. Before applying your epoxy, you're going to want to seal your cup. You can do that with a clear spray paint. You can also do that with Quick Coat from CC DIY. That would work as well. The reason you want to do that is because tacket tends to repel epoxy. So you want to make sure that you don't have any tacket residue on your cup, but sealing it is the easiest way to avoid fish eyes. Once you have everything sealed up, you'll just epoxy over like normal. I did have a few rough spots on this cup after this layer of epoxy, so I went ahead and sanded and then applied one more layer of epoxy and it was perfect. That's it for this video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.